I wonder how they expect two people to do this. I think this is the first time TEDx is putting two people on stage.
I guess.
Yes.
And you all know that I'm never complete without Nneka, so we're always together.
Thank you. I'm Nneka and he's Isaac Moses, and definitely this is not GOGE Africa. Rather, this is TEDxIkeja 2016. Yes.
And we're going Africa. We have been going Africa since 1999.
Since 1999.
And we're still going Africa.
Yes.
Thank you.
What I would like to share with you this morning is the experiences we've had traveling around Africa since 1999. And we're picking particularly the common traits we've been able to notice around Africa. Do I need to name some of them, or you just ask them some questions at this point?
Let's go straight since we don't have that much time.
Okay.
Have you heard the word Ubuntu? Anybody? Okay. However, the English language has not been able to capture the real essence of that word. It's a South African term for the essence of humanity.
I am because we are.
That's right. It is the kind of comfort, the kind of hospitality you find only in Africa. The idea that a guest in your home is perhaps sent by God. So you go out of your way to make sure that your guest is comfortable, your guest is welcome, your guest feels at home. So you do everything necessary within your confine or your abilities to make your guest very comfortable.
And that is just one side of Ubuntu.
Exactly.
The other side of Ubuntu, which I'm sure a lot of you would have noticed, growing up in the village, I didn't grow up in the village, but I always go home. A child is raised by the community.
That's right.
Whether your parents are there or not, every kid has that sense of I'm at home. When I go to the village when we were like 10, 11, 12, I can eat from anybody's home. And if I go wrong, any other woman in the community or in the kindred will give me a good whooping. Sometimes they even beat me in advance. Like your mom will pull your ear and be like, you see what she's doing? TJ, I will catch you. They're already beating you in advance. And I'm sure some of our mothers have done that to one or two of you here.
That's right.
Now, the other thing about Ubuntu is that Ubuntu actually has helped us to succeed with GOGE Africa. I remember way back in year 2000 or 2001, we heard on the radio that they are coronating a new Jaja of Opobo. And for me, I think that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We went to Opobo. We've never been to Opobo. We don't know anybody in Opobo. We don't have enough money for hotel.
We're not even invited.
We're not even invited. So we took our bag. We couldn't even afford a cameraman. By the way, he trained me as a camera person. So I carried my bag.
And I have to also point out this fact. Back then, it was near Christmas, almost Christmas. Most cameramen
are engaged.
They're engaged, and some are already on holiday. So we decided, look,
let's go take advantage of this opportunity. We went to Opobo. First of all, I was in jeans because I was ready to work. When we got to Corner Waterside, those of you who are conversant with that area would know, Opobo is an island. You can't get there without a boat. And then I didn't know that the rule is that you don't come into Opobo with jeans or trousers as a woman.
You have to tie a wrapper.
You have to tie a wrapper. Right there at Corner Waterside, I got a wrapper. I didn't ask. Somebody just came up to me, oh, you can't enter this community without a wrapper. I see someone already giving me a wrapper. We got into Opobo. We have nowhere to lodge, no food to eat, and don't forget, shoestring budget, no money for food. But the welcome we received is like
overwhelming.
Yes. We slept in 3 different homes because everybody is like, no, you have to. And then the breakfast every morning is like food for 6, 7 people.
Yes,
so you have to eat this one, eat that one.
Exactly. They keep bringing from different households. They bring food.
And that's what I say when I say that Ubuntu has carried us far. Now it's a South African word. Don't even let me go into the kind of treatment we got in South Africa or wonderful. Other parts of the world, Africa. Talking about Ethiopia, for the Ethiopians, they believe that a visitor or a stranger is actually a gift from God. So they go the extra mile to make you comfortable.
They serve you after a very good meal. They serve you coffee. Not just regular coffee. They serve you coffee with a coffee ceremony. They roast the coffee nuts, and the coffee is brewing, and you can smell you can smell the aroma, the rich, beautiful aroma, and then they pass the coffee nuts round, so you can smell it. So it's such a wonderful treatment
Experience,
again.
yes.
Africa is notable for this. You can't talk about Africa without the hospitality for which they are known for. And I am sure that it is this hospitality that visitors from the West who came in, they took advantage of this to exploit Africans and took away a lot of their people as slaves. Africa is not just about, Africans had skills. They were knowledgeable in a lot of things. They didn't just take people who were duns, they took people who were strong, who had skills enough to build the Western world. Like we all know, they took as slaves, built America, they built Europe, and that's why it's up until today, you can't really, Africa cannot be repaid. When you take people away for over 300 years or 400 years of slavery without payment, there's no way you won't be ahead. You'll be a lot of jumps ahead of these people. So that's why Africa's growth appeared to be stunted. But somehow, Africa is where we are today for these reasons and more.
And going forward, we said we share our common traits. One thing we found around Africa is that warm spirit, hospitality.
That's right.
That's one. The second thing would be celebration of life.
There's no dull moment in Africa.
In Africa, when a child is born, we celebrate.
That's
we
right.
have reason to. The Yoruba people, for instance, I think there are a few things they bring on board, like the palm oil, the this, the that. So you cannot have a child in Africa and not celebrate. I think after a few days, there's the outgoing ceremony and so many things that come with it. And most of these things we've actually recorded and put on TV for people to see. Now, after birth, you grow up into manhood or to be ripe for marriage, you are also celebrated. The Yaka people in Cross River, for instance, even the Igbos, even anywhere in Africa. Okay, let's talk about the Botswana people, the Wreath ceremony, where the people come out, the young maidens come out dressed in such a way that you see them, they're very attractive. At that moment, they're actually coming to show that, see, I've come of age. I'm ready for marriage. So festivals are organized around this event. In fact, the Wreath is one of those events where men love to go. Richard Quest has been there. Everybody who is anybody in the media world in Swaziland, they come there because the spectacle is like out of this world. Now, a replication of the same thing happens here in Nigeria. Let me come home. During the New Yam Festival, for instance, you find that apart from the fact that we're celebrating our crops, we're also celebrating our children who are going from being a child to becoming a woman. And you see every woman get their own children ready, their girls. You push her out there because that day she's supposed to find a suitor who will possibly become her husband in the future. Exactly. So we have every reason to celebrate. Okay, we celebrate birth, we celebrate coming of age. Even in somewhere in Imo State, there's one they call Iwakwa, that you've come of age to tie wrapper. There's a particular ceremony that goes with this. And all of these celebrations and ceremonies and festivals, actually, for me, is a tourism driver if well packaged.
That's right.
But the thing is that most people do not package theirs properly. But recently, a lot of them have been packaged. And GOGE Africa has supported each community to bring these events to life. But one of the ones that really freak me out in a very good way is celebration of, did I say that? Transition to the beyond. That's transition. Nigeria, when your parents or anybody that is old dies, the way it is celebrated is as if it's a party. But in Ghana, it's exceptional. In Ghana, first of all, is that you have designer coffins.
That's
it's not like you go to the market and buy coffin. If you're very old, it's like a big tree has fallen. The coffin that is designed for you will be in form of a tree. An old tree. If you are a young person that is, maybe you're a pilot, they design a cockpit for you or
to look like an airplane.
Or an airplane. Then there, what we have is a fishmonger died when they put that one up. If you see behind this one, it's another kind of fish, I think. And that's Isaac behind there when we went to look at those coffins and do a documentary on them. That pineapple one belongs to a fruit seller. She passed, and her people said, what do? We have to bury her in one of the fruits.
And if you were a musician,
you get a microphone coffin
that looks like a microphone. In fact, I have seen a musician being during his funeral ceremony. He was, instead
standing
of
in state.
lying in state, he was standing in state. So if you walked in, you would think
he was like this,
yes,
and his music was playing.
Yes.
And we're like, isn't that him?
That's, the way he used to look in his real life when he was alive. You can't tell, just that he wasn't speaking, but he was standing like that. And already he's late, he's gone.
So you see that we go overboard sometimes in
Africa is deep.
Celebrating. Celebration is what we are known for. And, okay. And going forward, we talk about mystical Africa. There's a lot of mystique in Africa.
Africa is deep.
You all know it. We all know it.
I'll tell you an experience I had as a kid. I recall growing up in Zaria. I broke my ankle, and they took me to a bone specialist, and they didn't even touch me.
Traditional bone specialist.
Yes, they didn't touch me. They got a chicken, did some incantations.
Broke the chicken's leg.
And straightened it out and let it go.
And tied something to it.
With two sticks by the side, to hold it in place.
On the chicken, not on him.
Not on me.
And they asked him to go.
But you know something? Whatever they were doing to the chicken, I felt. Isn't that Yes.
We're not saying we heard or they said.
Exactly.
This happened to him directly.
So now they let the chicken go. And as the chicken heals, I'm healing. So now if you were in my shoes, you'll be praying for that chicken, right?
And also, talking about mistake, it's dotted all over. There was a time we went to Benin Republic.
Port Novo, precisely.
Went to Port Novo.
Yes.
And we went for a particular masquerade they call Zangbeto. Back in the days, it was supposed to be the policeman of the society.
Yes.
So when we went, we needed to get footage. So our friends that took us went to their father who is in charge in the whole community. And he said, why did you bring them when it's not rainy season? Zangbeto cannot come out unless there is a
rainfall.
And the guy, and then I think we borrowed money to make that trip.
Yes, it was.
So we were almost in tears, and the father said, you know what, give me a minute. The boy called us and said, don't worry, he's going to get the rain doctors involved.
The rainmakers.
And to our surprise, they brought out a pot that was smoking, put it outside, and asked us to stay back. We stayed in. And I'm like, what about the Zangbeto? He said, just in a moment. Then the next thing, the cloud formed. The next thing, it's raining within the compound where we are supposed to record. And I'd never seen anything like that in my life.
Of course, I didn't believe it.
We didn't believe
it was happening because of what they were doing.
So Bonnie said, you know what, wait. My father says that you guys don't think this is happening. I said, yes.
Yes.
So they took the pot inside, and the rain stopped.
Yes. For real.
Then we said, okay, can you do this again? They brought it outside, and the rain started. Yes. So these are some of the mystical things about Africa that you cannot explain. When we talk mystique, it doesn't have to be juju or witchcraft. There's so many mystical things in Africa that I believe that can be converted for the good of all.
That's right.
Is it not witchcraft that you take a box and put it in your ear and you're talking to somebody far away? Which witch passed that one?
Exactly.
From there, what have we covered? Okay, 2, 3. Now, talking about, don't worry, we're very natural in the way we do things here. Now, you see, we talk about natural resources and the opportunities. The statistics are there on the internet. And for those of you and what you know,
Africa is blessed with human and natural resources.
Even the sun.
Yes.
Just think of what you can do with the sun. Why are we looking for alternative energy? The sun is there.
Exactly.
Now, human resources, you and I know how resourceful we can all be. Let me even start from our very step. I finished school, started sewing, met this fine guy. He talked me into GOGE Africa. Right. He didn't have money.
Thank you.
I didn't have money. But what we did is he said, you know what we need here is I can direct. You will carry the camera. Since you read English in Unilag,
you write
why don't you write the script?
Exactly.
And you see, I have a good voice. I'll be the one doing most of the narration.
Narrating it.
It's just a question of believing in yourselves. And we started GOGE since 1999. We suffered 2-3 years after the landlord threw us out of the home because we couldn't pay the rent. But today, we're also landlords, care. What's the big deal? You understand? But the thing is that you have to persist.
Yes.
You really have to persist and believe in what you're doing. Because every one of us, my husband talked earlier about how the Europeans came and picked. They didn't just come and grab who they wanted.
No.
Anybody you see, you grab. No, they were very, very strategic.
Very choosy.
You see, when we visited South Carolina,
yeah.
Charleston, we realized that they're very good. Some of you would have heard about American long grain, South Carolina rice. Those were the foundation that Africans that were taken from here built.
Exactly.
They went there, they are the farmers, they are the ones that picked the cottons. Even your iron was discovered by a black man from Africa. The rice technique, they selected those from the rice region to come and do that. They look for those who can carve. So they picked the very creme de la creme of Africans and took us. And by the way, it's not everybody that survived that long journey where they packed them like sardine. Now, for you to survive such journey across the Atlantic, you must be almost next to superhuman.
Oh, yes.
Some of us can't even take that heat now. So when they got there, they picked them for their skills. Those skills, most of it is, you remember what we call native intelligence? We all have it. The point is, we've reached to that point where you have to apply it. Let it be beneficial to you. Don't look at it as, oh, no, this is juju. What you call juju, Oyibo will turn around, package very well, throw it back at you, and you'll be paying.
Exactly. Look at, before the advent of the Western science, Africans had a way of going about it. They're not bereft of skills and ideas.
True.
I mean, they went about their medical sciences. People got sick, people got cured, people got healed. Yes, I mean, a few months back, we were in the impenetrable forest of Bwindi in Uganda.
Yes.
And I asked the ranger, I said, look, if these animals in their natural habitat, if they got sick, how do you guys cater to them? Because this thing has become a huge tourism drive for Uganda. So how do you guys cater for them? They said, oh, no, these guys, they've been here for a while now. They know the grass, the herbs that would heal them. If they had any kind of ailment or sickness, they know which herb to chew.
And talking about gorillas, right?
The gorillas, yeah.
They know the herbs to take. Just like our forefathers knew what they needed. You had stomach ache, they didn't go to the chemist because there were no chemists.
So we have animals, I mean, we have virtues. Yes. Africa has virtues that we can actually turn around, look inwards, and begin to harness these virtues to our own advantage. That's what I think.
That's the truth.
Yes.
And the point is, so what's the issue? Why is it that the richest continent in the world,
Africa,
happens to be the poorest? It's about time we stopped blaming Europe for underdeveloping Africa. We've reached the point where we should do something ourselves. Our leaders are who they are. And I think our leaders are a reflection of our society. If you put a buffoon, to rule you, I'm not talking about Nigeria or any particular country now. If you put a leader, excuse my language, who does not have what it takes to lead you, you put him there, you can put him out of there. But beyond the leader, if GOGE Africa was waiting for Nigeria to give us money to start up, then we would never have started.
That's right.
So the thing is, look up for whatever it is that is inside of you that you like to do. Look around you. There's an ethnic group that I like their name very well in Nigeria. Ishekirimi. That's the Shekiri people. It means that wealth surrounds me. And really, wealth surrounds all of us. But the fact is that we do not take pride in what we have. We have lost our confidence through the years of colonialism. And then we are beginning to believe that they are better than us. Nobody is better than the other. The fact is that there are things I have and I can do that you could never do. The same thing, there are things you can do that we can never do.
That's true.
And going back to Ubuntu, where we started, if really our leaders have that spirit of Ubuntu, the spirit that I am because we are, I don't think that they will continue to loot us. The Europeans have come, looted and gone, but they are still here looting, and we are looting ourselves dry, stealing ourselves dry. It's about time we remember the way it used to be. Go back to where we started from, the way it used to be. Remember that if I'm feeding and I'm happy and I'm not hungry, and my next door neighbor is starving, then I've not fed at all. So I think for me, just like he said, rounding up, let us be proud of who we are and what we are, and live for each other.
And on a final note, you are not a second-class citizen because you are an African. In fact, you are a very superior being because you're an African. Thank you very much.